Good evening and welcome to Wednesday's calendar.
On tonight's programme, Leeds manager David O'Leary's family are on security alert. Police say a string of menacing hate letters pose a real threat.
Trouble on the tracks. As a rail strike looms, we have the latest on how it will affect your journey to work tomorrow.
And forget Lord of the Rings, a new Bollywood epic is about to break all records, and we speak to one of its stars who's from Bradford. But we start with the news that a series of menacing anonymous letters have been sent to the Leeds United manager David O'Leary, and police are so concerned they've given the O'Leary family extra security.
It does appear that the letters have been prompted by the trial of the Leeds United players Lee Bowyer and Jonathan Woodgate. Calendar's Raj Shukla reports.
These are the chilling words which have haunted David O'Leary and his family for almost a year. The poison pen letters, which detectives say were written by a man, started arriving last February and threatened serious harm to the Leeds United manager's wife, Joy, unless his demands were met.
This individual is persistent, one might even say obsessed with the crusade that he believes he is on, and we need the help of the public today to help catch this man.
The first letter coincided with the start of the first trial of United footballers Lee Bowyer and Jonathan Woodgate. It was posted in either the Lincoln or Doncaster districts on the 14th of February last year. This was followed by more hate mail posted in the same area on March the 10th, the 20th of April and the 9th of August. Then one letter sent on October the 4th, but postmarked Nottingham. Another was posted on the 15th of December, and the last one sent just 3 days later, after the Bowyer-Woodgate retrial finished. David O'Leary is in hospital at the moment having a minor operation, but he says he and his family totally support West Yorkshire Police's efforts to find the sender of the hate mail. And he adds that he hopes that anyone with any information will pass it on to detectives immediately. Earlier this year, O'Leary spoke to Calendar of his fears for his wife.
What has my wife done? What is my wife, you know, doesn't come to football matches. She doesn't know the two players involved. What is it to do with her, as I say? And that is the, as I say, the sad, alarming thing.
And fans are upset that events off the field are affecting the club.
He is the manager of the club, but running the football side of the club is David's job, and he's doing that excellently. And why it should be haunted by something that happened outside the club with individuals is, again, it's hard to comprehend, and I sincerely hope that, as I say, they quickly bring it to an end.
Security around the O'Leary family has already been increased, and detectives say they're confident that with the forensic evidence they have, the poison pen letter writer will soon be caught.
Raj Shukla reporting. Well, what makes someone start up a campaign of hate mail? Joining us right now is leading psychiatrist Stephen Shaw. Are you building up a picture yet of the kind of man this is?
Yes, although it is early days, and there are certain clues beginning to emerge from this. All we've got is the envelope and the letter itself, and the letter itself is interesting. It's neat and it's tidy.
Let's have a look at that letter. I think we can have a look at the handwriting on the front of the envelope. Not all was sent, by the way, with handwriting on the front. There we go. Now, what's significant to you that it appears to be ruled lines, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Now, I don't know about you, Mike, but I don't write envelopes like that. Mine's all over the place. This is a man who's put a ruler, a piece of paper or something, and carefully written it along, which points up the obsessional streak to this sort of guy.
And in your professional experience, does that lead one to the conclusion that we're dealing with a potentially dangerous person?
Yes, it does, because you can look at the whole picture and say, here we've got an element of obsessionality which will lead on in his psychology to overvalued ideas which are not far removed from a delusion, and so we're into a very dangerous field.
The letters are sent to David O'Leary, but threatening, as we understand it, quote, serious harm, close quote, to his wife, Joy. Is significance in he's not sending them direct to Joy O'Leary?
Yes, because he's not prepared to face up to the fact that it's man to man. He can pick on the, quote, weaker woman and hurt O'Leary even more.
Are we dealing, in your opinion, with an intelligent man?
Yeah.
And if we are, is that in any way relevant?
I think it's relevant in that it's going to be that much more difficult to catch him. He won't make so many mistakes. But yes, he is intelligent, because you've got to look at the grammar and the syntax of that letter, and you're not dealing with anybody who's an idiot.
I mean, you've dealt with cases like this before. Would you advise extra security, as I believe is now, if you like, surrounding
I
the
most
poor
certainly
old
would.
O'Learys?
Yes, this can become a great snowball, which has got to be watched very carefully. I would take as many precautions as I could if I were Mr. and Mrs. Leary.
Okay. Any other pointers that you'd care to mention? Anything else that's been
Not at the
found?
moment, I don't think. No, let's see what emerges. This is very
Dangerous.
early days, but this is a dangerous fellow.
How dangerous?
Oh, how do you rate dangers? Highly.
Dangerous enough to take seriously.
Yes.
Okay, Stephen Shaw, thank you.
Moving on now, and a pensioner has told a jury today of his shock at finding his ex-wife murdered in her own home. Edna Slater had been battered and then strangled with her own pet dog's lead. The prosecution at Leeds Crown Court claims she was killed for her pension money by a desperate drug-addicted neighbour. From Leeds Crown Court, Chris Kiddy has the latest on the murder trial.
Brian Slater told the jury that although he and Edna Slater had divorced, they remained friends and lived near each other at Bramley in Leeds. It was Mr. Slater who found 74-year-old Edna's body the day she was killed. The couple had married after meeting at a Lonely Hearts Club in 1969, but separated 8 years later. The courts heard how Edna was beaten around the head with a dining chair so hard it broke, and then hung from a door handle with her own pet dog's lead while she was still alive. Her ex-husband became concerned when he called at her flat but couldn't get an answer and noticed the curtains were still drawn. Brian Slater told the court how he entered the blood-stained flat of his former wife to find her lying on the floor. She appeared to have something around her neck. He could tell at a glance that she was dead. Nearby stood her pet poodle, Snowy, like a statue, he told the jury. As he walked in, the dog walked towards him. Mr. Slater said he was in a state of shock. He needed the support of someone. He went immediately to the home of Michael Hargreaves nearby, the man who now stands accused of murdering Edna Slater. He rang his doorbell, he said, but got no reply. The courts heard how Edna was devoted to her pet poodle Snowy and was often seen out walking him. The jury's been told how Edna had caught intruders in her home before. She told police how the burglaries had made her fear for her safety. 34-year-old Michael Hargreaves denies her murder, and the trial is continuing.
Thank you, Chris. Well, that trial is expected to last up to a month, and we'll continue to bring you the latest news as it comes from court. Now over to the news desk for more local news.
Thanks, Christine. Hundreds of children have called in sick at a school in our region after a suspected outbreak of the stomach bug, which is sweeping the nation. Wales Comprehensive in Wales near Worksop is among the hardest hit by the bug. More than 700 children have called in sick, along with 16 teachers. The head teachers described it as the worst outbreak he's seen in more than 30 years of teaching. Meanwhile, Hull Royal Infirmary has confirmed that it's looking into the possibility of an outbreak of the stomach bug as well. There are 9 as yet unconfirmed cases on one ward in the hospital. The highly contagious virus causes stomach upsets. All patients are said to be recovering well, but as a precaution, the ward's not admitting any more patients. Boat pilots on the River Humber have called off their strike and say they're ready to go back to work. The Humber pilots, who had always been self-employed, have been striking since December in a dispute over the Port Authority's plans to employ their own pilots. But now the pilots say under European law they should already be recognised as employees. A hearing to establish the status of both parties has been scheduled for May, but the pilots say they're ready to start work again tomorrow.
Our position is we are ready and waiting to provide a proven superior service. We intend to proceed with our claim that this is still a valid ongoing industrial dispute, and we will take matters from there.
The RAF has announced that a squadron of Tornadoes is to leave its base at Coningsby in Lincolnshire and move to Scotland. The redeployment will see 56 Squadron and around 250 service personnel moving to RAF Lucas. The move's expected to be completed in 2003. In the meantime, a new airstrip's being built at Coningsby to accommodate the eventual arrival of the Eurofighter. A school has broken away from a government-funded scheme to improve education so it can slash class sizes to just 20 pupils per lesson. St Andrew's Primary School in Hull has taken on 6 extra teachers and now has some of the smallest classes in Britain.
Right, well done this table. You've made a really good start.
Smaller class sizes, better results. That's the message at St Andrew's Primary School in Hull.
It's right hungry down then.
More teachers have been employed, a move which has halved class sizes to an average of 20 pupils per teacher.
It's just making priority judgments, and there's some things we can put on the in the pipeline for another few years. There's something we're doing immediately. We're not restricting in any way, shape or form the ICT development, for example.
This prioritising has freed up £100,000 in the last 2 years, which has been ploughed back into the staffing budget.
But having 1 to 20, although some have found it quite strange, they feel sometimes that children are missing or absent. But once we've got used to having a 1 to 20 instead of 1 to 30, it's extremely good for them in their working environment and raising their confidence.
It's nice, and you get to spend more time with the teacher, and you can go on the computer a bit more times.
It's nice and it's not too squashed. Because when there's like more people, the teacher don't come round as much.
The school has already budgeted for the next 5 years, meaning class sizes can remain amongst the lowest in the country.